I'm Ginger,
I'm Dee.
and this is
Chat.
Chattin' with CHAP. Hey, everybody.
We're getting
I went,
a little better.
what we are, I think maybe, we'll
We, al-
see.
we almost were on.
Today I went to the market, and I actually really did go to the market, but I kind of got stuck there. So we're doing Chattin' with CHAP from the market.
From the market. It looks so good. I'm actually hungry, so it looks great.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Dee. Will you be able to stay focused?
I'm gonna focus, but I'm really hungry. Um, well, Ginger, can you imagine? I have an announcement to make.
Oh my goodness, I couldn't imagine what it could be about.
I know maybe those of you who tune in every week are getting tired of hearing this, but I know there's still some people who are saying they haven't heard. Convention has moved. It is no longer in June. It is now August 21st and 22nd. You should have received several emails and e-news from us regarding that change. But if you've registered for convention and you haven't heard from us, please drop a comment below because we need to hear from you. We need to know that you're able to make it in August, and we need to get things, all these loose ends tied up to get it moved to August. So if you've registered and we haven't heard from you, please drop a comment, send us a message, something so that we can reach out to you and get this all straightened out. But it's going to be good. Everything is moving and moving along, and a lot of the vendors are available in August, and our speakers are all available. We only lost one speaker who couldn't come, but I was able to replace them with Heidi St. John. So it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be different.
Yay.
A lot of things right now are different, and so we have to look at the positives.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be good.
Yeah, it will be good. So we're looking forward to seeing you in August. It'll be good to be together again for sure. So the next thing I wanted to mention is I think a lot of you are aware that there was going to be a summit at Harvard discussing regulating homeschooling. And a lot of things have come out about that. If any of you are linked with me personally, you saw an interesting post I put out from Newsweek this week, which kind of made me chuckle. But I just wanted to remind some of you that right now we're actually there's some really homeschool friendly people in very high up places. I know our Secretary of State and the Chief of Staff of the nation are one's a homeschooler and one is homeschool friendly. So those are good things to know. I also want to remind you, it has been brought to our attention that the things that these groups are talking about, HSLDA says none of them are new. The criticisms and the things that they bring out have been brought up before. It's all recycled things. The only thing that's new about it is they're all coming out together in one spot in this particular summit. So the thing that was troubling about it is that they did not desire to have any opposing view, no debate, no discussion. It was all one-sided. So that is a little bit of a concerning thing. Now, if you are aware or got HSLDA's email, they do have an article of things that you can do if you want to respond to this summit in any way. We will post that link for you down in the comments so you can take part in making sure that people are aware of your views of homeschool. And the thing there, I also wanted to mention homeschoolfreedom.org is a website that is a nationwide website that just kind of explains homeschooling and what the whole point is. So if you had anybody who had any questions, you could always point them there. And of course, you can always point them to chaponline.com or homeschoolpennsylvania.org to help them get some positive homeschool information out there. But I did want to mention too that I believe that the summit was actually canceled or postponed, but it's not going to be happening in June at any rate. So just share information, share good information about homeschooling. Let people know what really happens with homeschooling. And honestly, any of the things that are brought up that can happen negatively in homeschool can happen negatively in public school also.
That's right.
I don't think any of those things are unique to homeschooling. So with that, I guess we'll jump into our line number 8.
Yeah, we are plugging away here trying
We
to
are.
these 10 lies that we believe. And today we're talking about the lie, I have to have it all figured out ahead of time in order to homeschool. So, that is one I know that I've fallen for, that well, I don't have it figured out, so I can't do it. And yeah, what do you think about that, Ginger?
Yeah. Well, all those T's crossed and the I's dotted and whatever else it is that you're supposed to do. But I don't think it's possible. I mean, I am a planner and I try to have a lot of things worked out ahead of time, but when you homeschool, life happens. It's just different. I mean, and there's stuff that comes up, and we've talked about this before. We said how you have to be flexible as a homeschooler. You can't have everything absolutely planned out ahead of time and know exactly how it's going to work, because you just don't know. I mean, like how many times have we said, Dee, we picked this perfect curriculum and it was awesome, and we brought it home and our kids were like, yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, because even the best planning, I mean, the best laid plans, there's always something that changes or happens, or, you know, none of us envisioned we'd be in our homes right now, that co-ops would be canceled, that everything would be moved to Zoom.
Yeah.
So we can never fully be prepared for what life is going to bring, what's going to happen in our family, how our child is going to respond as they grow and mature, and figuring them out. And we've talked a lot about figuring your kids out and their learning styles and all those things. Well, something can look great on paper and not actually work when you implement it. So the idea that you have to have it all figured out is a lie, because really in life, we figure things out as we go.
Exactly.
I mean, that's how that works. So
exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's things that happened this year, and in some cases we have stopped using a curriculum, and times we just changed it. Like, you know, you have the 5-day program, and one of the steps in that particular 5-day program, the child just does not like. Just absolutely, it either causes them a nervous breakdown, or they get excited, or they can't think, or they get angry. And okay, then you just sit back and go, this step doesn't work. Like, we're gonna skip this step.
Yeah, that was the best advice that I remember getting from Bonnie Greiner many years ago. Many of you know Bonnie because she's very well known, and she's been a speaker at CHAP. But she used to have these mom's nights once a month at her house, and they were so encouraging. The best thing that she would always say, if it's not working, stop it. Stop it. Like, I understand that you paid a lot of money for it. I understand that you had all these grand ideas of how this was going to be the thing, but just stop if it's not working. And so the idea that we can have it all figured out is really a lie, because we don't know exactly what the future is going to hold, or how it's going to be received, or what's going to happen. And so I think that Ginger, that holds a lot of people back from homeschooling, really.
Yeah, it really does. And I think this situation we have right now with everyone's kids being at home, everyone's having to get an idea of what it's like to have children at home schooling. And I know some folks out there are not pleased with how things are going, using computers all the time, whatever. They don't like the amount of screen time, or whatever the reason may be, but I can't homeschool. I don't have this figured out. I'm not ready. I can't possibly do this. Like, this is scary. But that's part of this lie. It's a step by step. You know, you do a little bit. You don't have to jump into a full curriculum right away either. So that's one thing we wanted to remind folks a little bit, that what's happening with public schooling at home, or crisis schooling, is not homeschooling. It is different. And like, the main reason is, you know, some of you're forced to have your kids at home. You weren't planning on it. It wasn't something you were mentally prepared for. It was like rust in your lap, just like all of the rest of the night. I think, my goodness, we're all probably having little minor breakdowns trying to deal with what's been happening these past few weeks, because the changes have been enormous.
Right.
So that was, go ahead.
You don't have the opportunity to pick your curriculum. Okay, even though I just said sometimes a curriculum doesn't work, a lot of times it does work. And we do spend a lot of time getting to know our child and know what works for them. And we do choose based on that.
Yeah.
But now, you weren't really given a choice. And so it's not the same.
Yeah. Yeah, and you might even find that as you're trying to help your children, if you're, trying to help your children with your public school at home, and you don't know how to help them, it's not because you're not smart, it's not because you can't do it, it's because someone else chose the curriculum and has been teaching your child for most of the school year. And you are thrust into it in more of a teacher role because the teacher can't be right there with them explaining it to them like they would in class. But it's not your style of teaching, or maybe it's not your child's style of learning, and just trying to make all those things fit together. So that not being able to pick your own curriculum is a huge difference between the crisis schooling and the homeschooling. So keep that in mind. It's not, you're kind of getting a taste of homeschooling, but really not
really.
It's completely different. Another reason is you're not involved with the planning.
Right.
In planning homeschool, if you need a break, you can take a break. If everyone's just like frazzled and I cannot handle this workload, okay, so you change the workload, or however that works. This is it's planned for you, it's chosen for you, it's on someone else's time schedule, and you need to do it. It might not be what works good for your family. Maybe you guys are all night owls and you want to sleep until 11 o'clock in the morning and then get up and do school after dinner. I don't know, but it's not in, when you're crisis schooling, you don't get to say what goes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. You didn't plan it. Your kids are tied maybe to a computer, and maybe that's not how, if you did plan it, you would be planning it. And even homeschooling right now is not the same for us.
No, it's not.
We enjoy all kinds of different experiences and different things that we do that we're unable to do. And it's just different. And so you might be tied more to a computer, or, and in that situation too, when you had no say in the planning and the choosing and the laying things out, you just become an overseer. You're not coming alongside your children. You're just overseeing and trying to juggle many different children who have many different classes, who have many different teachers, who's doing many different things. And that's a lot.
Yeah, like you need a big gigantic whiteboard to just be able to keep track of all your apps and schedules and go here and go there for each child, and it's a lot. So it is more like I don't know, like an overseer type thing. And what's unique about homeschooling, even if it's a subject that you don't feel comfortable with, when you choose a curriculum and you start it from scratch together, you crack open the book, this is how this book works, this is how this curriculum works, this is how you use it, and you learn how to use it with your child, that makes you so much more comfortable with it. And I'm realizing just this week, in the past few weeks, I am so much better at English than I was before, just because I've done grammar. I have 6 children, and I have, they're kind of doing the same kind of grammars going through, but I've done grammar so many times now in the past 13 years, and I will do it a few more times before I'm done, that you just learn it as you go. So you're more of a companion with your child as they learn. You are learning too. I certainly learned more about history teaching it again, but you're walking with them, obviously at your level of intellect, and you're coaching them where they are. And it's different than trying to manage okay, be here then and be here then, and make sure you got this turned in here and make sure you check off that. It's different when you're walking with your child step by step than when you're just making sure they've gotten to all the meetings, Zoom meetings they need to be at, and checked all the apps they need to check.
Yeah. And when you've chosen it all, you've chosen to homeschool, you've chosen your curriculum, you've looked at your schedule, you've figured out what works best for you, and it's still things aren't the way you want to be, you can make changes. But right now you're tied to a place where you can't make any changes, and that's hard. That's tough. So yeah. So I think the big thing I would say is, if you find yourself in that situation, if somehow you've come across this video and you're in this situation where you're tied to that and it's not working for you, but you've believed the lie, I have to have it all figured out ahead of time before I start homeschooling, just know that's not true, and that we're here to encourage and support and help, and you could jump in anytime. And
yeah, we have lots of stuff out in homeschoolpennsylvania.org, lots of videos. We do have a YouTube channel too. If you search for CHAP on YouTube, you should find our YouTube channel. And we have all these encouraging talks that talk about things that you can do with your kids. If you're not really sure where to start, they're all out there, all for different ages. So you can check out those videos. It's very helpful. HSLDA has started a thing called mompossible.org. It was originally just for homeschool moms. It came out at the beginning of this school year, but they have morphed it to really help all of you public schooler moms out there who are loving having your kids at home and thinking, wow, maybe I just want to do the homeschool thing, but I need a little bit of help. Mompossible.org is out there for you. It's cool. They've got lots of resources, so you can definitely check that out. Like I said, homeschoolpennsylvania.org has a lot of the informational stuff and videos that Dee and I have done on CHAP's YouTube channel. And a quick start guide is on chaponline.com if you want to jump in, even now here at the end of the school year, if you'd like to try it for a few weeks and see, you know what, I like doing this. I like setting my schedule. I like choosing what my kids are going to study and those types of things. We encourage you to do it. Now's a great time to be checking out homeschooling.
Yeah, it sure is. What a better time. You're already home. We're all home. So it's a good time to check it out, and just don't fall prey to that lie that you have to have it all figured out. Well, we all just figure it out as we go. And so I also and I think we probably already touched on this, but just remember what you're feeling right now is not the feeling of homeschooling. So don't use that as your gauge of whether you want to do this or you could do this, because it is very different.
Yes, it is. It's the whole flavor of everything right now is just weird.
Right.
It is just weird. So, okay.
Well, I think that's it.
I think so.
And the dog's going to bark.
Yes, the dog says it's time to be done.
Well, this has been
Chattin' with Chap. Bye, everybody.